Hi, good evening. It's Nancy Bertels, and welcome back to episode 4 of 5 Minutes of Sutton History from the pages of the Sutton Siding. From November 8th of 1985, there's a mention of Coyote Lake and that the borough had purchased the property for a park there. At the Tuesday night assembly meeting, the ordinance to purchase Coyote Lake and its surrounding environs, a total of 40 acres from the Cook Inlet Region Incorporated, was passed unanimously. The cost of the purchase is $55,000 and is being paid by the borough. The Federal Office of Surface Mining has agreed to spend up to $85,000 on design and specifications of the reclamation work to be now done at Coyote Lake. Once the design work is completed, Rick Austin, Alaska Mining Lands Coordinator, will apply for more funds from the Office of Surface Mining to do the actual physical work. Coyote Lake, which has been used for years by area residents as a recreational area, recently came to the attention of various officials when the abandoned mine lands reclamation problem targeted it that was to be reclaimed. Their total reclamation was to include completely refilling the pit, calling the area a safety hazard. Residents heard of this proposal and protested the destruction of the one recreational area easily accessible to Sutton. Upon further investigation, it was discovered that the area, also known as South Knob Creek, was in actuality owned by CIRI. When approached, CIRI did not want to assume the liability for the lake, but was agreeable to some sort of deal with the borough for the land. The first proposed deal was for a land swap, comparable borough land in exchange for the CIRI-owned Coyote Lake. Comparable borough land, however, could not be found. Finally, CIRI agreed to sell the land to the borough for $55,000. The ordinance passed Tuesday evening and approved this purchase price. The Abandoned Mine Lands Reclamation Program began work in the Sutton-Chickaloon area in early 1984. Various mines were targeted for reclamation work, including Wishbone Hill, Eska, Castle, Buffalo, and South Knob Creek. All of these coal mines had operated at one time or another, but were now closed down. Old mining equipment, slag heaps, and gashes where strip mining had occurred cover these landscapes, and this is what the AML is to clean up. South Knob Creek was one of the strip mining operations, but it has been unused for many years. In fact, for the last 20 years, it's been a recreational area used for swimming, with a record of never a mishap worse than a cut foot. Coyote Lake is located up Jonesville Road. It is a slightly curved pit, approximately 650 feet long, 70 feet wide, and 10 to 15 feet deep, with deeper spots. In July, the temperature of the lake is a constant 55 degrees. The water of the lake has been tested by AML field investigators and found to be good. Apparently, there's a freshwater feed into this lake, accounting for the good quality of the water. So the article goes on and talks about the passing of the assembly passing this and the work that'll go on up there, and saying that by next summer, the summer of 1986, we will be able to use the lake officially with borough approval. And from December 6th of 1985, there's an article about the ELP students at Sutton Elementary, written by their teacher, Chris Walker. Students trace school's history. As part of the celebration for the 100th anniversary of schools in Alaska, the ELP, or Extending Learning Program class at Sutton Elementary School, carried out a research project concerning the early schools of Eska and Chickaloon. The class learned research skills, interviewing techniques, and advanced writing skills as a result of this project. We received copies of letters that were exchanged between the Eska teachers and the State Commissioner of Education. We got to know these people quite well. Ora D. Clark, the first teacher, who spent her whole life teaching in Alaska, Elsie Edmiston, who was discovered to not have a teacher's certificate, and Mary Monagle, who lived in a tent. There was very little information about the school at the Chickaloon Naval Base. We saw many photographs of the naval base and were fortunate enough to receive permission to tour the old town site. We were able to interview several former students of the Chickaloon Homesteaders School and hear about their teachers and their classes. Only 2 students got the belt, according to our information. 1 student got it for putting a live mouse in the teacher's desk. The material display put together by the ELP students is currently on display at the Palmer Library, and in December it will be at the Sutton Library. All material from this project will eventually be donated to the Alpine Historical Society. And then from December 20th, an article about the weather. Snow for Christmas. The lack of snow in the Sutton area this year has made for some dark and gloomy winter days. Everyone naturally assumes we live in Alaska that we will, of course, have a white Christmas. It doesn't appear that Mother Nature is going to oblige us this year. At least she hasn't so far. Out of curiosity, we contacted our local weather recorder, Rodney Johnson, and asked him if there had been other Christmases that lacked the powdery white stuff. He very graciously took the time to bring in his weather records for the past 7 years. Here's what's happened on Christmases past. In 1978, there was 32 inches of snow. It was 11 degrees for the high and a low of minus 27 degrees. In 1979, there was 10 inches of snow cover with a trace of snow that day, a high of 20 degrees, a low of minus 6. In 1980, only 2 inches of snow, high of 25, low of 19. 1981, 16 inches of snow cover and snowing, high of 24, low of 15. In 1982, there was a 20-inch snow cover, high of 18 degrees, low of 15 degrees. In 1983, 0 snow cover, high of 44, low of 35. 1984, 15 inches of snow cover. It snowed 4 more inches that day, the high of 18 degrees, low of 9 degrees. So, in the past 7 years, as the past 7 years points out, anything can happen. And as Rodney said, wish for what you want, and it just might happen, snow or no snow. See you soon.